Well, hello and welcome in. This is Legacy Beyond Wealth. I am Ben George with Rob Shelton at Axio Wealth Management. We're doing a little four-part series to kick off the YouTube channel, and we talked about the business a little bit. We've talked about Rob himself, the personal side of things. Today, Rob, I want to get into the clients, the people you work with every day, because I know this is everything of what you do, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be a good conversation. Again, if you want to get in touch with Rob, you can always do so by going to axiowm.com. You can also call 801-717-9237 is the number. But we got a few questions. I kind of want to learn a little bit more about, for anyone that's maybe tuning in or watching this video, came across your YouTube channel, just want to kind of give a little insight into, maybe who might get the most out of working with Axio. Because I know, if you go to your website, axiowm.com, you talk about specializing in comprehensive wealth planning and helping these successful families, tailoring it to these successful families a little bit. So I want to kind of explore that a little bit with you. Who is that ideal client? Let's just start right there. Very simple. Who is that ideal client that maybe comes and sits down with you and meets with you in your office?
That's great. Ben, in our industry, sometimes you get asked that question and people might have some kind of a qualifying factor being a dollar amount that someone makes or how high their net worth may be. For me, it's about working with a select few clients that we really enjoy working with and that we feel like we can help out the most. And so some of those qualifiers or ideal clients that we would have is someone that we call a family steward. So we take a look at high net worth individuals and personalities. There's 7 different types that are out there. One of those is a family steward. So we're basically building the wealth. Everything they're doing is for their family. That's the type of people that we work well with. Type of individuals not so well would be someone like a VIP, where earning the wealth and everything else is about being flashy or showy. But those that have that family stewardship component to it tend to be work really well with. The others are business owners. Okay. And high income earners. They tend to have a little more complexity that's involved that allows us to really dive in and make that significant impact for them.
What are some of the challenges they typically face when they come in to meet with you? What are some of the things they're trying to solve and try to maybe find answers and solutions for?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have, I would say, 5 areas that we really focus on that I would say would be concerns that usually fall into one of or multiple categories. One is just making smart decisions with money. So typically we find that's something that they're questioning or wondering about, or maybe there's an event in their life. Maybe it's the sale of a business coming up. The second one's going to be tax planning. That tends to be a really big concern. Are they being as efficient as they possibly can to close up any possible holes that's going to the IRS? If I think of like a bowl of water, how do we close up any of those cracks? Are we being most effective we possibly can there? The other is going to be wealth transfer. Sometimes I had a client once just say, hey, my wife and I were out sitting on surfboards in the middle of the ocean by Hawaii and thought, my gosh, if we were gone right now, how's everything going to work out? And they were reassured that they had the plan in place on that wealth transfer side. The other one's going to be asset protection. And the last area that we look at that clients sometimes are looking at and strategize about is how to give to charities. And sometimes writing a check is effective, but there's maybe some more other effective ways to be able to have a bigger impact upon the individual and their family as well as the charity.
Very good. And we're going to talk more about the planning process. We'll get into some of these different areas too, and talk more about strategies and solutions that you and your team utilize in future videos. So if that's of interest to you, please hit subscribe. We'd appreciate that support, help the channel grow a little bit as we kind of get things going here. I know going from our last couple of videos we've done and talking about yourself and talking about the business a little bit, I can obviously tell how important it is to build those relationships and what relationships mean to you, but kind of want to hear it again in your own words of what kind of relationships you strive to build with everyone that you work with at Axio.
Yeah, boy, relationships are so important to me. Like, that's a big motivator. Loving to get to know the families on an in-depth level. Deep, professional, meaningful relationships really are what drive us. And every Friday we get together as a team. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of the last week. And it's so great because part of that good, we always say, what is one thing you as a team member did this week to help a client live their best life? And boy, that's where so many great stories come out, and we really get a chance to individualize and drive home what it is that we're doing.
That's really cool. I'm sure you hear some pretty good stories, and I guess that's probably the sort of thing that inspires people too, day to day, because it's easy to kind of get into a routine. We're recording this beginning of the year, so I know it's kind of fresh in your mind to kind of take those steps forward every day. So I'm sure those meetings help you. Um, as far as financial planning goes, I'm curious, like, kind of what misconceptions do you typically see? Because I know there's a lot. I mean, you can look anywhere online and look for information. You can find all kinds of stories and articles and videos about financial planning. But what are some of the biggest misconceptions that you wish people understood a little bit better?
I think that in any industry you look at, whether it's real estate, financial advising, tax planning, travel and leisure companies, you're going to have those companies that are out there with their own motivation that's driving what they want to do to be successful. One thing that's really different about our firm and what really I think sets us apart is wanting to drive and execute for the client. And so, unfortunately, in our industry, there's a lot of individuals out there that want to try to earn a quick dollar. And so, I think a lot of people are kind of worried or concerned because they've heard the horror stories before. I mean, if you watch the news, that's what they usually put on there because I think that's what gets the most clicks, right? It's not like
Yeah.
they usually have the story that says, "Hey, this financial advisor actually helped somebody." It's this Ponzi scheme or the SEC shut them down or something of that nature. And so, I think understanding and trying to be able to trust somebody is so critical, and being able to find that relationship of trust in a financial professional, I think, is what people are seeking for. They're just not quite sure how to go about it, and because of the horror stories out there, I think there's just that bit of timidness, if you will. If you think about a deer going to get a drink out of a creek, their ears are up and they're really timid about going through the process. And so, if there's anyone out there that's listening, I just suggest, there's a few questions that we have and that we would suggest you ask anyone that you're looking to be able to work with. But being able to get a feel from and building that trust, I think, is really, really critical part.
Are you ready to unlock the freedom to live your best life? Schedule your no-cost 60-minute discovery meeting with our team today. During this session, we'll take the time to understand your family's story and financial dreams. Together, we'll craft a personalized roadmap designed to help you achieve your goals. Let's explore how we can unlock the freedom for you and your family to thrive. Just click the link in the description of today's show to get started.
I know there's gonna be a lot of people that tune in the video and they're looking for different things, but with your kind of goal for the videos and YouTube, what do you want somebody to get out of these videos, or what do you hope they take away from what we're doing every week?
Yeah, some people may think that our major goal here is to try to convert people to become clients, and that's going to obviously be a byproduct, and we get that. Our number one reason for doing this is we're really on a mission at Axio to help successful families unlock the freedom to live their best life. And if someone can watch this and get a couple nuggets or inspire them to work with a professional to take those steps to help live their best life, I think sometimes it's such a tragedy out there. We get stuck in a certain rut for whatever reason. And sometimes I call those fur-lined ruts because they become very comfortable. But our best life sometimes requires us to get a little bit uncomfortable to get to the point where we really want to be able to be at. I'm just grateful I had mentors in my life that opened my eyes to see what I needed to be able to do to get to be in my best life. And I hope I can be able to do that and inspire others to take that necessary step to maybe get a little bit uncomfortable to be able to reach out there and create that best life that's there for them.
Yeah, we would hope that. And look, if you're curious about what's to come, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd appreciate that support as well. All right, let's close it out with this note. I know financial planning, a lot of people, they're kind of getting into it and trying to understand what's out there and what's available. And hey, should I work with someone? Should I not? I think a lot of times you kind of say, okay, well, everybody's kind of the same. How do you stand out versus someone else? So we're going to get into your planning process a little bit on our next video, but just kind of to kind of wrap up this one, how does your process, what you do every day, your practice, how does that stand out in serving your clients' needs in a unique fashion compared to other people?
Yeah, I think we take on that role and responsibility of being your chief financial officer to be such a high level of trust. What we want to do is make sure that we're collaborating with all the other professionals. As we've worked with clients over the years, we've come to find that this statistic is really true. It was a national study that was done, but it found that, 75% of the time, clients are unsatisfied with at least one of the professionals that they're working with. And one thing that I love that I think really sets us apart is that we want to build a collaborative relationship, not just with the client, but with their CPA, their attorney, their property casualty agent, real estate agent, anyone that's having an involvement in their life, and making sure that we're getting the most out of those relationships and that we're collaborating together. And I think when people see that, they go, man, that's so different than what a lot of other people are doing. They'll maybe give you a checklist. Hey, I need you to go talk to your CPA and execute this, or go talk to your attorney and do this. But we're the ones that are taking on that role and responsibility, collaborating with them and providing the client with that executive summary of the next steps of what we need to take to really make an impactful action list towards what's most important to them.
Awesome. We're going to get into that planning process on our next video. So stay tuned, hit subscribe. We're going to have that coming up. We'll get into a little more detail on what it truly looks like and give you a little more information on that. So if you are curious, that'll be a great one for you. But also, if you are just interested in learning more about Axio, always encourage you to reach out, axiowm.com. You can schedule a time to meet with Rob, the team there, and get to learn a little bit more. And I know you are in Utah, Rob, but you work with clients, I know, across the country, and a lot of the stuff you do is through Zoom now, right? 2020 kind of changed everything for us.
It has. And, when you're in business long enough, you have great referrals that come from people that say, hey, I've got a friend or a family member that I care dearly about. Would you be willing to work with them? And so, Zoom has really shrunk the world where we're able to work with most anybody out there.
Awesome. Well, again, axiowm.com. Everything will be in the show description, so you can always get in touch with Rob if you want to. We got one more part coming up, again, the planning process. We appreciate you being here for this one. Please hit subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. We'll talk again soon. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.